Welcome to the Cosmic Busker. My name is Bobby Codey. All right, we're going to take a look at the alien interview. I'll give you a little background on this one. It is alleged to have occurred in 1991. Came out in 1997 to the public. Now, I remember when this came out in 1997, download speeds were very slow, and this was a pretty lengthy video, I remember. And I looked at snapshots of it, and I said to myself, this is fake. Just looks fake to me. I didn't even bother downloading it, didn't even bother looking at it. There's actually a documentary about it. I didn't even watch the documentary at that point. I was so convinced it wasn't real. I've changed a bit on that. I am a little bit more convinced now that it is real. I still have some doubts, no question about it. But there are certain things around this that I'm starting to look at it and I'm like, this could be real, and I want to examine it. Now, what we're going to look at today, I saw, this is a YouTube channel called Redacted. Redacted does news and politics. It's a real good channel. I'll put a link down below to the original interview. They interviewed this gentleman about the alien interview video. So the alien interview video, like I said, 1991, it was alleged to have been recorded. 1997, it was released. It alleges to be that there's a military captured an alien extraterrestrial, or as they call it, an EBE, extraterrestrial biological entity. It's where EBE comes from. This gentleman also speculates that it might be hyperdimensional. We'll talk about that in a moment. I'll stop him once he talks about that, and I'll just add a little bit of information into that. So it's the military interviewing, essentially, the captured alien. You'll see the lights are dark. I saw the lights dark. I saw the photo. I'm like, come on, why are the lights dark, But we're going to talk about more why I think this has more provenance and could be real. In particular now, as you'll see, they're talking about Congress may even look at this. Congress is having UFO hearings based on the UFO whistleblower who recently came out. Those hearings will be next week. This is being filmed on July 24th. So sometime in August, late July, August. It's actually still late July it's going to be. Maybe going into early August. These hearings are going to take place. And this may be part of it. This gentleman makes that claim. We'll see. Let's look at the interview right now. We'll take a look at it, and we'll talk about why I think it may be real. Still, I'm not convinced, but I think it may be real. So we'll take a look at that right now.
So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot in April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other.
I just want to point out, he says a thought projection interview. So in other words, the reason there's no sound on this allegedly is because this creature is communicating telepathically. I don't doubt that telepathy is possible. But again, this is one of those alarm bell things that makes me think it's fake. So we'll talk about that later on. But, could be real. Let's see what else he says.
Designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some.
Now, right there, I just want to bring up that he talks there how, yeah, they call these extraterrestrial biological entities, but they think they may also be from another dimension. By that, what they mean is that there are literally, we exist in a 3 or 4 dimensional universe, length, width, height, time, 4 dimensions. There appear to be other dimensions existing around us that we can't detect because we can only detect 4 dimensions. Scientists have actually not proven this, but gotten strong hints in this direction when they actually hypothesize and see what would happen if things were actually hyperdimensional and that more dimensions exist than the 4 that we currently exist in. They hypothesize, I think, up to 10, 11. They've even gotten into the 20s. I've done a video on this where one of my viewers said, "Oh, that's bullshit. It's BS, the hyperdimensional stuff. What are you talking about?" I did a whole video where I explained the hyperdimensional mathematics. I go deep into it. I'll put up a link to it right now so you can watch that. So, these hyperdimensional domains may exist around us. At least hypothetically, it seems that's what the math shows. Okay? And so that's what they're hypothesizing. These may be creatures that actually live in another dimension around us. And we share our planet with them. They're just in another dimension. And that's one of the reasons why people claim that, I don't know if you've heard that UFOs, they come to nuclear silos where we have the nuclear missiles and they shut them down. And some people are speculating, yeah, because and this is what some people say the aliens tell them, when we explode these nuclear bombs and test them, it rips through the fabric of space-time and actually affects these other dimensions really negatively too. There's other beings living there in other dimensions and we're ripping them apart. We think it's just some isolated island out in the Solomon Islands or Fiji Islands or whatever it is. But in higher dimensions, there's beings over there we're destroying. So that's why it's like, hey, don't be doing that, dude. Let's go and see what else he says here.
These beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it, and because I've seen the outline of the figure, and I didn't catch this, and someone else did, so I'm crediting them. I don't ever want to not credit other people. That Colin Powell was in that interview room. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I can't verify it, but it certainly looks like the outline of them. It looks like an African-American male in his 50s wearing an Army Class A dress uniform.
Whatever. So maybe that's Colin Powell. No way to prove it unless somebody asks him and he says, yeah, it's me. Probably laugh.
Funny, the Rear Admiral that was on my list was the person that reported intelligence to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Interesting.
All right. I just want to stop this real quick because I want to take a look. This is where I wasn't aware of this. And I want to go back and everybody take a look at this because, I said, oh, look at, it's all dark and everything. They're trying to hide it. But here you clearly see medics come in and they're working on the alien. What they're doing is ridiculous and it's silly and they're not doing anything, but okay, whatever. But you can see a body at that point. You know what I mean? That's kind of gives it a little bit more credibility here. That's why I want to stop this. You see
the
where
Rear
the body
Admiral
is there?
that was on my list was the person that reported intelligence to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Interesting. But that's just how bizarre this film has gone. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Codey said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was two men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room. As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the two doctors that are going to be on either side of this beam. On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Codey, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this beam in the 2-hour-long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the room? And so when we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about this. Now you've proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this.
All right. So right there, he said he thinks that this alien interview is going to be a big piece of this. That's interesting because, like I said, the UFO whistleblower, he stated that there's, he's interviewed numerous numbers of real people. Now, this UFO whistleblower, he's high in the spy echelon in the United States government. He had access to anything he wanted. And he found a whole bunch of information that there's UFOs, crashed alien UFOs, we've recovered UFOs, we've recovered alien bodies and live aliens. So that's what he's coming out with, and he's saying that he's being persecuted because of it. That's why he's a UFO whistleblower. The Inspector General of the United States agreed with him and said it was urgent. So he's got not only his credibility, but he's got strong aspects of the United States government backing him up, saying this is real. And he's got the evidence to prove all this stuff. So if he's got evidence to prove, like I said, alien bodies being recovered as well, that sheds a whole new light on this. That's why I'm saying at that point, I'm like, maybe this is real. Wow. And if Congress does agree to take a look at this video, that means, because there's a whole bunch of secret witnesses have and will probably testify before Congress, and that have spoken to the UFO whistleblower. So if they're going to look at this alien interview, that means that at least one of their credible witnesses says it's real. It's going to be a very interesting week next week. I'll be doing my best to cover it. I may end up recording, doing similar to what I did with the weaponization hearing. I may do the same thing. Matter of fact, I'll throw a link up to it up there or there, where I take the whole weaponization hearing, or in this case, the UFO hearing, and I clip it down so I have all the most important stuff and no empty video time, so that you can just get to the nuggets of it and see what's going on. And I'll do some commentary on it. So that'll be sometime next week. So it's going to be interesting. But let me know what you think. Do you think this is real, or do you think it's fake? I thought it was fake, but if Congress is going to look at this next week, and the more I look at it, the more it seems to have a little bit more credibility. Maybe it is real. Fascinating. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'm going to do a video soon on that UFO whistleblower. I want to take a look at everything he said, and I want to put it in a much bigger context. so that we really understand the big context. Because it's important not to get lost looking at the trees when there's a nice big forest around you. Thanks for watching, everybody.